Here in the United States, in the year 2022, parents are driving for hours to find the last remaining cans of baby formula. They're calling friends and family out of state for any signs of supply. Doctors are warning parents against diluting formula to make it last longer. So how did we get here? How did the richest country on earth find itself struggling to feed its babies? This headline from Fortune, it gets straight to the point. America is running out of baby formula because 3 companies control the market, and babies aren't that profitable. One of those companies, Abbott, controls about 43% of the market. And back in February, the FDA ordered Abbott to shut down its plant in Michigan after 4 infants were hospitalized and 2 died after drinking formula produced at the facility. Abbott then voluntarily recalled its baby formula from store shelves. The company says that its plant is not the source of the infections. Abbott has since reached an agreement with the FDA to reopen the facility.
Her startup, BioMilk, is trying to produce human milk in a lab.
This looks like milk.
Well, it's frozen. It looks like an ice cube.
So it's not milk.
It might be. We don't know for sure.
They're not sure because scientists are still figuring out what human milk even is. They do know it has thousands of unique molecules. BioMilk works by culturing cells, a process not unlike making lab-grown meat. Layla's team feeds the cells nutrients and vitamins similar to those in the bloodstream. Then it incubates the cells in a bioreactor, whose surface area works like the inside of a breast.
It takes a couple of weeks for them to get to where they're nice and dense in there. And once they reach that point, we then go ahead and add that hormone, prolactin. From there, we start to see some of the components of milk being synthesized, within days, really.
BioMilk is far off from actually selling their product, around 5 years. Eventually, the goal is to develop different batches of milk. One that reflects a vegetarian diet, another for late in a baby's development, and still others from cells biopsied from individual people's boobs, the bespoke suit of lab-grown milk.
And you'll go ahead and you can go ahead and take this from me with your right hand, and you can hold up the flask with your left hand. We've got this idea that if you could collect a woman's own cell sample and propagate that in the lab and get it going into one of our units, we could produce milk for her based on the genetics of her own cells. You don't have to collect cells from a pregnant woman. In fact, you could collect cells at any point. You could even collect cells from men. We think they would respond to the hormones in the same way.
Still, BioMilk wouldn't attain the complexity of the real thing. It's missing bioactive ingredients because it's produced in a sterile lab.
I've also vowed this publicly that we have to get rid of the bots and trolls and the scams and everything, because that's obviously diminishing the user experience, and we don't want people getting tricked out of their money and that kind of thing. So I'm definitely on the warpath. So if somebody's operating a bot and troll army, I'm definitely their enemy.
What's his goal? Where he talks about the openness. How does he feel about something that says vaccines kill people, or that Bill Gates is tracking people? Is that one of the things he thinks should be spread?
So there you are, you're getting it from the horse's mouth from the UK government. We look forward to you rolling out verification for all users, and it echoes the UK government's plan as part of a proposed legislation, they said. And that's what this is all about. It's all about verification, digital ID verification, in order for people to use Twitter. They lie about the free speech and making the platform safe. That's crap. It's the complete opposite of that. And then once that happens, all of the big social media platforms will start getting you to require you to authenticate yourself, probably with your phone at first, and then later on it will be a digital ID within the phone. And eventually, I would imagine they plan on getting the internet service providers to make people verify themselves with them digital ID, jib-jab passports, to be able to use the internet.
My friends, welcome. The mark is here. Iran is set to be the first country to roll out a biometric digital ID needed in order to buy food. Needed in order to eat. Right? Needed in order to survive. You must go get your digital ID from a government.
And I think these same people know They can make a lot of money. Many of them probably have made a lot of money if they bought, cheaper. Then sometimes you lose money. That's the way our great free market system works. I mean, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, do you?
Well, you definitely don't, Larry. And look, on the day that I became controller of the currency in May of 2020, the price of Bitcoin was around $4,000. It's now $30,000, and we consider that to be a crash. So if you just think about it, we're up about 1,000% in the space of 2.5 years. Yes, it's well down off its high, and that's because of a whole set of disastrous policies going on among the developed countries, but it's still up faster than anything else. And the reason, you asked what the future is about, Larry, the reason is because the future belongs to networks, and cryptocurrencies are network-based dollars. They're not dollars created by politicians who have political ends like climate change or job growth or whatever. These are things where people are investing in the growth of a network, and the network produces its own token that has value. That is the whole point of all cryptocurrencies.
This morning, I woke up to Candace Owens being outside of my house with a news crew. She was demanding that I come outside.
Hello. I was just looking to speak to whoever is at this property because it's listed as the Black Lives Matter property. Sir? Hello?
The fact that she's came outside my house and demanded things, harassed me, is unacceptable.
We're not trying to harass you. We'll gladly leave. We're just wondering if we can speak to anybody.
Y'all, I really need my family to be safe. I need to be safe. I need my child to be safe. And this, what happened this morning is not safety.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
President Biden wants everyone to be aware of monkeypox as the cases of it continue to climb. He says the threat doesn't rise to the level of COVID-19, and he doesn't see the need for strict quarantine rules like we had during the early stages of the pandemic. Florida health officials are investigating a presumptive third monkeypox case in the U.S. The virus spreads from one person to another through respiratory droplets and contaminated materials. It can enter the body through broken skin, the eyes, nose, and mouth. The symptoms include a fever, swollen lymph nodes, and lesions.
We know how to treat this if people get really seriously ill. For example, we have an antiviral that has activity. We have, antibodies that can be deployed if needed. Number three, we have a vaccine that we can use in the general population.
And the fatality risk from monkeypox is low. People usually recover within 2 to 4 weeks without needing to be hospitalized. President Biden says he thinks the U.S. has enough stockpile of the vaccine to handle the spread.
Oh, no. To battle the birthday boys. Bill and Sleepy Joe Biden and their Baphomet Brigade. Lest we forget, let me repeat, put on the whole armor of God, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers, against principalities, against wickedness in high places. Oh yes, everybody's talking about that spectacular flower blood full supermoon in Scorpio. Look at my black. Yes, the longest total eclipse in 33 years, visible to millions. Did you see it? Did you miss me? Did you wonder where I was, why I hadn't popped up for a quickie? Well, as usual, while the astro agents and the pop astrology amateurs, yes, were oohing and ahhing and cooing about new chapters, cleansing chakras, release and power and passion. I was busy monitoring the clandestine, hardly, hidden in plain sight, yes, news and moves being made under this impactful and quite phenomenal celestial event. Yes, hard work, but someone's got to do it. Yes, scoping out with my Scorpio rising, scoping out those sovereignty and survival issues that punctuated War on Humanity, the Taurus season, part 3, round 3, so I could bring you the truth about the transhumanist May 2022. The 90-minute eclipse occurred between 3:27 a.m. and 4:28 a.m. British summertime, yes, on May the 16th, in 25 degrees of Scorpio. Square Saturn, still busy resetting the system in revolutionary Aquarius. Sextile Neptune in Pisces, and hot on the heels of the start of Mercury retrograde at home in Gemini. That hot water, that volatile collision between Mars and Neptune in Pisces. A potentially traumatic or equally healing conjunction of Venus and Chiron, and of course Jupiter's crash landing also in the courageous sign of the Ram. Ooh, there's some crusading going on, there it is. The reset got real in the down-to-earth Taurus season. So real, in fact, that there was so much mayhem that manifested that it's taken 2 weeks, 2 weeks to edit my 2-part epic decode of the transhumanist Taurus season. So consider this part 3 whenever order you see them in. Oh, wow. When you check out part 1 and part 2, like I said, I break down, consider it a prediction, I break down a lot of, the tsunami of Taurus themed troubles that have actually culminated under this phenomenal full moon. Anyway, while you're at it, like, comment and subscribe. Oh gosh, wow, yeah. Well, of course, if you're watching this on not for YouTube, you're just going to get a taster. Oh, my taster seems to be go on forever. But anyway, and you, of course, you can get the full frontal, uncensored, and red hot receipts if you can handle the truth. When you join us over at SonyaStarsandSoul.com. Yeah. Well, of course, it being Taurus season, with the stunning lunar eclipse in the opposite sign of Scorpio, yeah. It's been all about body and soul, yeah, the two ends of that polarity. The Taurus basics, health and wealth, food, money, self-sufficiency, security, the physical, possessions, and psychological values. Oh yeah. Interwoven with the Scorpio essentials, reproduction, resources, revelations, sex, and survival. And we had them all. Oh no, don't let that No. Here we go. Let's count the ways. Food, fuel, and baby formula shortages and supermarket shootings. Inflammation and apocalyptic, according to the head of the Bank of England, apocalyptic inflation. Yes, World War III predictions and the threat of starvation from Sri Lanka to Shanghai. Power struggles from Pakistan to Ireland, crypto crashes, sex scandals, child abuse allegations, we're looking at you, Disney, health scares, HIV, bird flu, food plant fires, I go into that in the other ones, pediatric hepatitis, aggro and arguments about abortion, catch my breath, the BLM, Black Magic Matters, yes, they weren't bending the knee to you. Yeah, that's a Masonic pose, Masonic initiation, but I said too much. They weren't bending the knee to you. Yes, the BLM Soros-funded sister parish was exposed and called out by Taurus Queen of controlled opposition, the lovely Candace Owens. Oh my God, what a scandal.
I was 7.5 months pregnant, rang a doorbell, had no idea she lived inside or was inside, spoke to a white security guard for a couple of minutes. He was pretty friendly. He didn't say anything. And I said, would you like us to leave? We're just kind of trying to document where all this money has gone that was given to Black Lives Matter. And no sooner did we get in the car than she was squeezing out fake tears, pretending that she was under duress. And it's just so emblematic of exactly what Black Lives Matter is, emblematic of fake victimhood. What you're really seeing there, actually, Tucker, is she's terrified. She knows we've been working on this documentary. And so she's now slowly starting to admit that maybe she's done some things wrong. You purchased a $6 million mansion with Black Lives Matter money, and you hired your brother and your mother to work at the mansion that nobody has access to. I mean, I'm Black. Shouldn't I be allowed in this mansion as a creative space? As I say, it was purchased. She's also admitted recently that she threw an inauguration party, a celebration party for Joe Biden. Now, why on earth would she be doing that after a summer of riots throughout America, claiming that purporting to be about racism in America, she decides to throw an inauguration party? So in this documentary, I really wanted to explore and get to the bottom of what's actually happening with the Black Lives Matter movement, the Black Lives Matter organization, and it is absolutely shocking. I mean, when you see the information that we uncovered, there's no person that's going to be able to turn a blind eye to the corruption and the lies the Black Lives Matter movement actually is.
Yes, that one, and the wars over bodily autonomy was especially for the sun-kissed sisters. And we don't need to talk about Kevin because I've done a whole special on that. You'll see it somewhere. Yes, digital ID demands from Nigeria through to Italy and Iran. I showed you earlier. And basically devastation, death and destruction dished out everywhere.
Now, if you thought with the receding COVID-19 numbers in several parts of the world, the threat to your health might be over, then here's something you need to pay attention to. It is now, unfortunately, monkeypox that is troubling the European countries, along with the US and Australia. And with that, the viral infection has raised an alarm around the world. The map on your screen showing almost a dozen countries that have reported confirmed cases of monkeypox, including European countries like Spain, Portugal, Italy, France, Belgium, and Germany. And apart from Europe, the United States, Canada, and Australia are some of the other countries that have reported confirmed monkeypox cases. Let us now understand what exactly is monkeypox. To what extent should we be concerned? Monkeypox is a viral infection similar to smallpox. Its origin dating back to 1970. As the name suggests, the disease first emerged in monkeys kept for research in the late 1950s. You can catch the infection if an infected animal bites you, or by touching an infected animal. It is usually spread by rodents like rats, mice, squirrels. Experts have also observed that monkeypox can be transmitted through sexual contact. The disease almost disappeared for 40 years after being eradicated through vaccination in the 1980s, only to re-emerge in Nigeria in 2017. If you are infected, it might take anywhere between 6 to 13 days before the symptoms appear. Currently, there is no specific treatment available for the disease. Considering the unusual outbreak, the World Health Organization has now called for an emergency meet of the experts to discuss the situation.
Of course, as always, all together now, the sons and daughters of Satan, aka Saturn, synchronize their shenanigans to the big clock in the sky. How many times? What more do you need to see? And they were more determined than ever in the face of a wonderful total eclipse, superb large moon. They were more determined than ever to bring all those build back better plans plotted and primed at the new moon in Scorpio. Yes, that satanic plan, yes, at the new moon back in November. They were determined to bring it to fruition here under this full moon in Scorpio.